Like and subscribe right now, or this spider will crawl on your face when you're sleeping.
10 incredible pets that returned home after being lost for years. The worst thing that could ever happen to a pet owner is losing their pet. Today, we count down 10 incredible stories of pets that returned home after being lost for years. These stories will warm your heart. Join us as we count down, subscribe if you haven't, and stay tuned for our number 2, which features a picture from one of our subscribers. Number 10, Prince the Dog. Prince is a dog owned by a soldier named James Brown. Brown was deployed to war in France, and he left his family behind in England with their dog, Prince. His deployment was not only hard on his family, but Prince was devastated even more. One day, Prince left the house, leaving the family even more worried. In a letter sent to Brown by his wife, Brown learned that Prince was missing. He was also devastated but had to focus on the war ahead. Shortly after the letter, Prince and Brown were reunited in France. So, how did the dog get there from England to France? For those who don't know, there's a large body of water that separates England and France. Most professional swimmers even have a challenge swimming in the channel, but Prince made it and reunited with Brown after swimming across the channel. What's interesting is that even Prince got a job at Brown's unit. They used Prince to deliver messages to other soldiers during battle. How cool is that? Before we move on, I've got a little challenge for you that'll take 5 seconds to complete. So here's the deal. You just leave a like on this video, smash that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell, and you will get 25 years of amazing luck. Try it, it really works. Number 9, Suika the cat. Sometimes natural disasters may separate us from our beloved pets. In Japan in 2011, a tsunami hit and a black cat named Suika was swept up in the waves and carried away from her home. Her owners, Takeo and Kazuko Yamagishi, had already evacuated to high ground to survive the tsunami. Upon returning home, Suika wasn't there. They searched for months in vain. They soon came to terms and gave up hope of ever finding her. 3 years later, a couple found Suika in a forest during their hike. The hikers noticed a black cat curled up in a high branch of a tree. They rescued the cat and noticed that the cat's collar had a charm with the name and phone number of the owners. Clever! They called the Yamagishis and reunited with Suika. Like in the situation that they found Suika, the cat was probably saved by the tall trees during the tsunami. Number 8, Manuela the tortoise. Would you still recall your pet 30 years later? Tortoises have one of the longest lifespans among living creatures on the planet of about 150 years. When Manuela was reunited with his owners, he wasn't as far from them as they thought. Manuela belonged to the Almeida's family. He was a pet to their daughter Lenita, who went missing in 1982 while the family house was being renovated. They suspected the construction workers left the front door ajar, leading to the pet's escape. In 2013, 30 years later, the man's children, who are now all grown up, were cleaning the house when they opened the storeroom their dad normally locked inside to get rid of some clutter to make good use of the room. The room was filled with record players, radios, and other electronics that their late father was planning to fix. When the kids brought the piles of trashes to the front of their house, they discovered that Manuela the tortoise was still inside one of the cardboard boxes. So, how does a tortoise survive for over 30 years without food? The vet whom they took the tortoise to informed them that a red-footed tortoise can survive for 2 to 3 years without eating. So, what about 30 years? The flooring of their house was infested with termites, so most probably Manuela was eating the bugs in the floor. Never underestimate this animal that can live anywhere. At least it was a happy union for the family despite losing their father. Number 7, Fuzzy the cat. Imagine a situation where you are reunited with your pet at a store where you are going to get a new pet. This is the awkward but happy scenario that one Michelle Wright of Barrington, New Hampshire found herself in. In 2010, she had asked her friend to pet sit her young cat Fuzzy when the cat went missing. During the long search, neighbors informed her that a black and white cat had been run over and killed by a car. Michelle was devastated as she believed Fuzzy was the one who died. Michelle moved on and got new pets. 4 years later, while shopping at a local pet store not far from her house, she browsed the section of cats for sale. She was shocked to see a cat that had the spitting image of her Fuzzy. Michelle asked the pet store owner on where the cat came from. He explained that the cat had been picked from the side of the road. The veterinarian had estimated the cat to be 4 years old, same age as Fuzzy. Michelle returned with photographs of Fuzzy and even showed a unique birthmark on the paw of his pad. The store owner granted Michelle permission to go home with Fuzzy after paying an $85 adoption fee, plus implantation of a microchip. Number 6. Corky the dog. Corky, a scruffy little terrier mix of a dog, was only 1 year old when he escaped from his kennel at his home in Texas. Corky was given as a gift to the Montez family. 7 years later, someone reported 2 little stray dogs wandering together by the side of the road. The dogs were then scanned for the microchips, leading them to the Montez family. This generous family decided to take in Corky and his friend, whom they named Captain, after realizing their bonds were inseparable. Corky even looks at Captain as his younger brother and lets him eat first. How cute! Double blessings there, right? Number 5. Nigel the parrot. Nigel was a parrot owned by a British man named Darren Chick. The parrot even adopted his British accent. However, one day Nigel flew away and was never found. 4 years later, someone else found Nigel's microchip that was inserted. It led them to the store where Nigel was purchased years ago. The owner searched his records and traced Nigel back to Darren. It wasn't smooth sailing during the reuniting as Nigel scratched Darren. However, soon after, they got along just fine. After investigations, it was revealed that Nigel had been living with the Smith family, who had purchased him for $400 at a yard sale. Ruben Hernandez, the grandfather of the Smith family, had formed strong bonds and even renamed the bird Morgan. The parrot helped Ruben with his loneliness after the death of his wife. When the reuniting of Nigel and the owner hit the airwaves, Ruben's granddaughter Liza Smith contacted Darren and explained where Nigel was. Darren was touched by the story and returned the parrot back to the Smith family. The parrot now goes by the name Morgan. If this was you, would you give away your pet after reuniting? Let us know in the comment section below. Number 4. Woosie the cat. Helen and Phillips Johns from England were devastated when they lost their cat Woosie, who was 7 years old in 2011. After searching in vain, they soon came to terms with the reality and moved on. Little Woosie had wandered off 50 kilometers and stopped at a Ginster's pastry factory. The workers there thought the cat was adorable and decided to adopt him as some sort of mascot. They even renamed him George. The cat was living a good life, as he was spoiled to bits with sausages and assorted meats as his new norm. Lucky cat. 3 years later, the workers decided it was time for the cat to visit the vet. All along, they assumed that the cat was a stray. The cat was now fat and chubby thanks to the new diet. When they arrived, the doctor scanned the cat for a microchip. The doctor discovered Woosie's identity and contacted the former owners, Philip and Helen. They reunited happily. Number 3. Opie the horse. In 2002, when Michelle Poole from Texas was admitted for a back surgery, she asked her father to watch over her pet horse Opie while she was recovering. However, Michelle's father didn't own a stable, so Opie stayed enclosed by a wire fence in his pastures until one night when an intruder clipped the metal fence and stole the horse. A devastated Michelle reported the theft to Stolen Horse International. 10 years later, she received a phone call informing her that Opie was found. According to a pastor who had Opie, he said that he had found the horse wandering on the side of the road. So, rather than report this incident to the authorities, why was this pastor trying to sell Opie on Craigslist? The woman who wanted to purchase Opie searched online when she realized that Opie's name popped up on a list of stolen horses. The markings on Opie's body were unique. She reported the incident to the authorities. Opie was recovered in the pastor's house the next day and reunited with Michelle. The pastor was, however, not convicted for the theft. And with that, it's now time for today's best pick. Today's photo was sent to us by a subscriber. So, if you come across a photo online and want to know more details about it, just send it over to us. We might even feature it in our future video. Number 2. The horse she rode on the road. This is a novel and not a pet that reunited with the owner. It's a story about a 19-year-old Maria whose horse is threatened to be taken by the bank because of her mom's loans. Maria, who adores her pet, decides to save her horse by running away from home with it when the man from the bank comes to their home to take her horse. When Maria rests near a deserted rock, Zeus the horse suddenly disappears. She looks for him but doesn't find him. Do they reunite eventually? You can get more details from the book by Samantha Baldwin. Number 1. Angel the Cat and Charley. Angel, a pure white cat, escaped her home in Pensacola from the arms of Heather Howell and her 4-year-old daughter Charley, who was blind and battling brain cancer. Howell was desperate to reunite Charley with her furry best friend. She searched everywhere from shelters to Facebook for any help. Miraculously, Howell found Angel again on Facebook as another family was planning to adopt her. Angel was supposedly surrendered to a local shelter by individuals claiming to be the cat's owner. Eventually, Howell was able to get in touch with the family who adopted Angel and explain the situation, leading to the big reunion. There are still kind people in the world, don't you agree? And that was our countdown on 10 pets that returned home after years of being lost. Which story touched you the most? Share with us. If you haven't subscribed yet, I don't know what you're waiting for. And thank you for watching.